Have you ever felt like someone really close to you just doesn't seem to have the same kind of spirit as other people? That weird feeling that no matter how hard you try, you can't really connect with them? It's not just in your head. There's actually a spiritual reason for this, something that goes beyond what psychology usually talks about. There are people who don't have what you might call a soul. I'm not talking about demons or anything supernatural. I mean people who were born and raised alongside us, share our family DNA, but don't have that inner spark we all think of as a soul. To understand this, it helps to know the difference between a soulless person and a young soul. Young souls are spirits who are new to this life. They're still learning, making mistakes, acting selfish or impulsive sometimes, but they have the potential to grow. Inside them, there's a light, even if it's small or unclear. They can feel real remorse, connect emotionally, and show true kindness. Soulless people, on the other hand, are totally different. They don't have that divine spark inside. It's like their body is an empty shell, running only on ego and basic survival instincts. They didn't come here to grow spiritually because they don't have that ability. Spotting these people isn't about just noticing bad behavior or personality issues. It's about seeing a deeper, missing energy inside them. Once you recognize these signs, your whole life perspective can change. Here are 7 clear signs you might be dealing with a soulless person in your family. Sign 1. Total emotional void. The first thing you'll notice is a complete lack of emotional depth. I'm not talking about shy or quiet people. I mean a coldness that feels like ice, even in moments that should naturally bring out strong feelings. Watch how they react in situations that usually touch people's hearts, like when a family member is grieving, a child gets hurt, or there's a big celebration. A soulless person's reaction will always feel mechanical and fake. They might say the right words, put on the right facial expressions, or even cry if needed. But it doesn't feel real. More like watching a bad actor pretending to care. Real empathy isn't there. When you open up about your worries or joys, they'll respond with empty comments or quickly turn the conversation back to themselves. If you're stressed about work, for example, they might brush it off with cliché advice or start talking about their own problems instead. What's even more unsettling is how they treat other people's pain. They don't really care. Sometimes they might even feel a strange satisfaction when others struggle, especially if those people are more successful or happier than they are. It's not that they wish harm on others. They just can't connect with what suffering feels like. For these people, relationships are just transactions. They keep you around only if you're useful, whether that's for status, money, emotional convenience, or entertainment. The moment you stop being useful, you might as well not exist to them. Maybe you have a sister who never shows real interest in your life and only contacts you when she needs something. Or a dad who was there physically but never emotionally, never giving you the love or validation you needed. These aren't just people who have trouble expressing feelings. They're missing the emotional compass that guides most of us. That loneliness you feel around them, it's real, and it has a spiritual reason. Your soul senses that they don't have a soul. That's why talking with them always feels shallow, no matter how much you try to get deeper. That's why you walk away feeling drained and confused, like you were trying to connect with a wall. Sign 2. Energy drainers. Have you ever noticed how some family members leave you feeling completely wiped out after spending time with them? It's not just normal tiredness. It's something much deeper and more draining. These people act like emotional and spiritual black holes, sucking the life out of you. Soulless people are like energy parasites. Since they don't have their own inner source of spiritual energy, they take it from others just to keep going. This isn't the normal give and take energy we all share. It's one-sided and non-stop. You've probably seen how some people seem to get a boost right when you're feeling the weakest. When you're stressed, anxious, or vulnerable, these family members somehow know it, and they don't come to help. They come to feed off your energy. They drain you in different ways. Sometimes they start fights out of nowhere. You could be having a peaceful day, and suddenly they stir up drama or tension, This isn't an accident. Emotional stress makes you release energy, and they know it on a deep level. Other times, they drain you by playing the victim all the time. They always have bigger problems, need more attention, and act like their life is worse than yours. You end up spending your energy trying to comfort them or just putting up with their constant negativity. Pay attention to how you feel before and after being around these people. You'll see a pattern. You always leave feeling like you just ran a marathon. Your head feels heavy, your body sluggish, and your motivation tanks. The worst part? This happens slowly, so you don't even realize you're being drained. These people are experts at hiding it behind emotional needs. They'll say things like, "You're the only one I can talk to," or "I don't know what I'd do without your support." Those phrases are traps designed to keep you hooked. In families, this gets even worse because there's pressure to accept it as normal. You tell yourself, "It's family. We have to help each other," or "They've always been like this." You might feel guilty for wanting to protect your energy from your own blood. But the truth is, you not only have the right, you have a spiritual duty to protect your energy. It's sacred. It fuels your spiritual growth and your ability to make a positive impact on the world. Letting an energy parasite drain you is a huge waste of your potential. These people can sense when you're trying to set boundaries, and when you do, they'll ramp up the pressure. They'll make you feel selfish or cold for not feeding their emotional black hole anymore. Sign 3. No spiritual growth. One big sign of a soulless person is how totally stuck they are spiritually. No matter what chances they get to grow, they stay exactly the same emotionally and spiritually, sometimes for decades. Think of someone in your family you've known for years. Most people slowly mature, get more compassionate, learn from mistakes, and grow inside. But a soulless person stays frozen. Same bad habits, same reactions, same toxic behavior over and over. They instinctively avoid anything spiritual or uplifting. Mention meditation, and they'll scoff or quickly change the subject. Talk about gratitude, life purpose, or self-growth, and they get visibly uncomfortable or sarcastic, like these topics physically bother them. When you start growing spiritually and raising your own vibe, you'll notice something. They get more and more uneasy around you. Your inner light, even if it's still small, disturbs the emptiness inside them. Back to soulless people. Not only do they resist growing themselves, but they also try to hold others back. If you're going through positive changes, they'll find ways to mess with your confidence, question your new habits, or create stress to knock you off balance. Another sign is that they can't feel true gratitude. No matter how many good things are in their life, they always focus on what's missing or what others have that they don't. Gratitude is one of the highest vibes, and they just can't tap into it. Watch how they handle deep thinking or self-reflection. People with souls, even those slow to grow, have moments where they wonder about life's meaning or how to improve. Soulless people avoid this completely because there's nothing inside to question. To them, spirituality is just a tool for social gain. If they go to church or temple, it's for appearances, networking, or social convenience, not for a real connection with anything higher. They might quote religious or spiritual ideas, but it's all mechanical, without real understanding. Sign 4. Master manipulators. If there's one skill that soulless people are really good at, it's psychological manipulation. For them, it's not something they have to learn. It comes naturally, like breathing or blinking. Every conversation, every interaction, every relationship is just a chance for them to control others. Their manipulation is dangerous because it's so sneaky. You don't even realize it's happening at first. They don't use obvious threats or emotional blackmail. Instead, they plant little doubts, twist your view of reality, and make you question your own feelings and instincts. One of their favorite tricks is what we call family gaslighting. They deny things that actually happened, change the story of past events, and make you think your memory is failing. It never happened. You're overreacting. You've always been too sensitive. These phrases are like weapons. meant to break down your confidence in what you see and feel. They're experts at finding your emotional weak spots and using them against you at just the right moment. If you once mentioned feeling insecure about your looks, they'll make little comments to make that insecurity worse. If you talked about fears in your career, they'll find ways to question your abilities. They're also great at making you feel guilty for things that aren't your fault, for feelings that are completely natural, for decisions you have every right to make. After everything I've done for you, you only think about yourself. Our family was strong until you started acting like this. These are lines they use to keep control over you. Now tell me, have you ever felt confused after talking with a family member? Like something felt off, but you couldn't quite say why? That's a classic sign of manipulation from a soulless person. They're also pros at something called triangulation, turning people against each other to keep control. They tell different versions of the same story to different family members, spark fights, and then act like the peacemaker. Lying is a daily tool for them. Not random lies or excuses, but carefully planned lies meant to get what they want. They can lie while looking you straight in the eye, without showing any guilt or discomfort. That's because they don't have the usual moral feelings that make people feel bad when they lie. If you call them out on their manipulation, they'll quickly flip things around. Suddenly, you're the bad guy, the troublemaker, the one causing drama. They turn into victims and you end up defending yourself against accusations that don't even make sense. What's even crazier is how they can twist their own memories. They don't just forget things selectively, they rewrite history in their minds to make themselves look innocent or wronged. That makes it almost impossible to have a real, honest talk about problems with them. Sign 5. Eyes that don't lie. There's a saying that goes across cultures. The eyes are the windows to the soul. When you really look into someone's eyes, you can tell if there's a soul behind them, or if there's just an empty void. Soulless people have a very specific look in their eyes, and once you notice it, you can't ignore it. It's not about eye color or shape, but something deeper, the complete absence of that spark of life we see in normal people. When you look into the eyes of a real person, even if they're having a hard time, there's still an inner light, a connection to something real. You feel like a conscious being is looking back at you. There's warmth, even if they're sad, angry, or confused. But the eyes of a soulless person are like emotional black holes. You might be staring right at them, but it feels like no one is really there. It's like looking at a photo. The eyes are there, but there's no real presence behind them. Notice how they hold eye contact during important talks. Most people, even shy ones, can keep genuine eye contact when it matters. Soulless people avoid those moments because they know their eyes will give them away. When they do make eye contact, often to seem more convincing while lying or manipulating, it feels intense and fixed, like a performance. It doesn't flow naturally. Watch their eyes during emotional moments. When someone's telling a sad story, during a family celebration, or something that should bring real joy or empathy, their eyes stay empty and disconnected, like they're watching a movie instead of living the moment. There's also a kind of hunting look in their gaze. Not direct anger, but a quiet, calculating stare. It's like they're always sizing you up, looking for weak spots to exploit. Many people say they get an uncomfortable feeling when holding eye contact with a soulless person. A shiver, a chill, or just the urge to look away. That's your soul recognizing there's no soul in front of you. During arguments, watch how their eyes change. Instead of real anger, something unpleasant but still human, you'll see something colder and more calculated, like a switch flipped on. They don't cry real tears. Sometimes they'll fake them, but if you look closely, their eyes don't get red or show real vulnerability. Those are just acting tears. The most telling thing is how you feel after looking into their eyes for a while. With soulless people, you leave feeling empty and confused, like you tried to connect with something that just isn't there. Sign 6. Repeating toxic relationships. The love and social life of a soulless person is like a broken record playing the same harmful story again and again. They can't form real connections because they don't have the emotional ability to build healthy relationships. Look at this family member's dating history. You'll see the same pattern every time. Their relationships start off intense, then quickly become full of drama and fights, and end badly. What's shocking is that they never seem to learn from past mistakes. Every new relationship follows the exact same self-destructive path. They seem to have a weird talent for finding people who are vulnerable, those who are grieving, going through a breakup, dealing with family problems, or struggling with low self-esteem. These people become easy targets because they're more likely to put up with bad behavior just to feel noticed or have company. At the beginning, their relationships are explosive and full of big promises. They overwhelm the new person with attention, quick declarations of love, and unrealistic plans for the future. You're the one I've been waiting for. I've never felt like this before. Let's build a perfect life together. They say these things easily, even if they've only known the person for a few weeks. But this fake honeymoon phase doesn't last long. Once the other person feels secure, the toxic behavior starts showing up bit by bit. Jealousy, controlling actions, emotional manipulation, and slowly cutting the person off from friends and family. It happens so quietly that the victim doesn't realize they're getting trapped until it's too late. The worst part is how they switch between fake kindness and coldness. This emotional ups and downs create a strong need in the victim to hold on to the good moments from the start, trapping them in a cycle of hope and disappointment that can last for years. They never take responsibility when things end. It's always the other person's fault. She was crazy. He didn't understand me. She was too jealous. They didn't appreciate me. The story never changes. They always act like victims of bad partners, never as people who helped ruin the relationship. In families, this creates a tiring pattern. You end up hearing the same romantic dramas over and over, trying to fix conflicts and offering support for problems that never really get solved. It's like watching the same bad movie and hoping for a different ending. Friendships are the same. They make friends quickly, especially if those friends can give them something social, financial, or emotional. But these friendships never get deep because there's no real give and take. When friends realize they're always giving and never getting back, they naturally pull away. What's interesting is how they act when old friends or partners try to reconnect. If those people can still offer something useful, they pretend like nothing happened. But if they don't have value anymore, they treat them coldly or ignore them. They also like to mess with healthy relationships around them. If you're having a good marriage or friendship, they'll find subtle ways to plant doubt, start rumors, or make comments that shake your confidence. Sign 7. Extreme reactions to the sacred one of the most obvious and strange signs of a soulless person is how strongly they react to things that are truly sacred. I'm not talking about just going through the motions of religion or family traditions. I mean a deep gut-level dislike of anything with real spiritual energy. Have you noticed how this person acts in sacred places, like churches, temples, meditation rooms, or special natural spots? They don't just seem bored or uninterested. They actually get uncomfortable, restless, and want to leave as fast as possible. During family prayers, while everyone else is quietly reflecting, they're usually messing with their phone, making noises, or just giving off impatient vibes that ruin the mood. It's like the prayer itself physically irritates them. Spiritual symbols like crosses, statues of saints, mandalas, or crystals trigger weird reactions. They might put up with them if there's a social reason to, but you'll notice they avoid touching or getting close to these things. Sacred music hits them hard too. Gregorian chants, mantras, or uplifting songs often make them annoyed. They might ask to change the music, complain about the volume, or leave the room. If you talk about personal spiritual experiences, moments where you felt connected to something bigger, signs, meaningful dreams, They react with mockery or try to explain everything away logically. That's just a coincidence. You're imagining things. Maybe it was something you ate. They have a strong need to tear down any story that talks about the sacred or spiritual. They also avoid deep talks about life's purpose, meaning, or spiritual growth. While most people find these conversations inspiring, they find them uncomfortable or irritating. They quickly change the subject or joke around to lighten the mood. During family crises, when most people turn to prayer or spiritual comfort, this person will only look for material solutions or get annoyed at others trying to find spiritual meaning. Now that you've recognized the signs that you're dealing with a soulless person in your family, it's time for the most important step: learning how to protect yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The first and most important thing is to set clear energy boundaries. Remember, it's not your job to fix, heal, or change this person. That's a dangerous trap. Thinking your love, patience, or good energy will suddenly wake them up. It won't. Start by seriously limiting the time you spend around them. Set clear start and end times for family visits. Keep phone calls short and controlled. You don't need to be available 24/7 just to get emotionally drained by someone who can't give back. Use small talk as your shield. When you have to interact, keep things light. Talk about the weather, the news, or simple stuff like food. Never share personal details about your life, fears, hopes, or plans. Anything personal can be turned against you later. Before meeting this person, take a moment for a protection prayer or do a quick meditation where you imagine a strong, golden white light surrounding you, keeping their negative energy away. Ask for help from your spiritual guides, angels, or whatever higher power you believe in. When you're with them, try the neutral observer approach. Instead of getting sucked into their drama or manipulation, watch it like you're studying a science experiment. Keeping that emotional distance stops them from draining your energy. Learn to spot and stop endless circular arguments, the kind that go nowhere and just waste your time and energy. When you catch yourself in one, say something like, "I think we've talked enough about this." Then change the subject or walk away. Don't waste time trying to convince them they're wrong. Soulless people don't change their minds based on logic or feelings. They only change when it benefits them. Arguments just drain you, so avoid them. Build a strong social circle outside your family. Surround yourself with friends who truly support you, celebrate your wins, and stand by you when things get tough. This helps you see the difference between healthy and toxic relationships. Take care of your own energy by doing things that lift your spirit. Meditate, read inspiring books, spend time in nature, exercise, or listen to music that moves you. The higher your personal energy, the harder it is for negative people to affect you. Now comes the hardest but most freeing part: breaking free from the toxic patterns caused by having a soulless person in your family, and starting a healing process that can impact generations to come. This isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about breaking old family cycles and building a healthy, spiritual legacy. One important truth is that healing your family doesn't always mean staying physically close to everyone. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself and future generations is to create permanent distance from someone who keeps bringing toxicity. This kind of conscious distancing isn't abandonment, it's spiritual wisdom. When you realize someone can't change and only brings harm, keeping them close out of obligation is actually self-sabotage. You're not being cruel, you're being smart. Start by identifying the negative beliefs this person has planted in your mind over the years. I'm not good enough. No one will ever truly love me. You're overreacting. You're too sensitive. These toxic ideas can stick around even after you step away. You need to replace them with positive spiritual truths about who you really are. Forgiveness here doesn't mean accepting abuse or getting back together. It means letting go of anger and resentment so you don't keep hurting yourself. Forgiving a soulless person is like forgiving a force of nature. You do it for your own peace, not for them. Create new family traditions and rituals that honor healthy, positive energy. If you have kids or plan to, be very aware of the kind of energy you let around them. Kids are super sensitive to toxic vibes and can carry those wounds for life if exposed to soulless people while growing up. Healing your family also means focusing on relationships with family members who do have souls, people who want to grow and support each other. Spend your time and emotional energy on these connections that truly lift everyone up. The final step in your freedom journey is to build a new family identity based on strong spiritual values, real love, and mutual growth. You have the power to start a new energetic lineage where compassion, honesty, and spiritual growth are the foundation. Remember, you didn't choose to be born into a family with a soulless person, but you can choose how to respond. Your freedom isn't just personal, it's a gift to the universe, helping raise collective awareness and blessing future generations. The real victory isn't about changing the soulless person. That's impossible. The true win is reclaiming your own light, protecting your sacred energy, and using this experience to become more compassionate, wiser, and spiritually strong.